So forgive me if it wasn't quite flow. So I'm going to just talk, I will do a little bit about my background and my career today. I'll do a little bit on the background of Mars as well, and then I'll come on just to build on what Tom said around FMCG as an industry, why I think it's a great place to work, and also just a couple of bits in terms of, these are slightly more Mars specific around what we look for in terms of key characteristics, and then also some of the benefits of a career in Mars. Okay? Perfect. Cool. So as James said, I've worked for Mars for nearly 10 years. I started when I was 18, and I've worked all across the business. So I came in on a slightly different program. I had the whole, do I want to work for Mars, do I want to go to uni? You know, it was quite a big decision, I guess, for me at the time. And one of which I obviously chose to go to Mars rather than go to uni. So I've worked all over the business. So I've worked from sales to marketing, supply chain. I did a project management role on Galaxy, so a Galaxy brand, basically bringing innovations to market for a couple of years. And then I moved into HR last October, and I now head up all of our graduate programs based on Mars in the UK. So if I flow on to us as a business just really quickly, so as James said, we founded in the UK in 1932, and our business is essentially split up into 4 areas. So we have the chocolate side of the business, which I guess most of you are more familiar with. Then we have the pet food side of the business, so Pedigree, Charm, Whiskers. We have food side, so Uncle Ben's and Dolmio, and then we now have Wrigley as well, which weren't part of the original Mars family, but we acquired Wrigley a couple of years ago. So we have a gum side of the business now as well. So that's Mars as a business. FMCG for me, I guess, building on what Tom said really, there's 3 things for me. So the breadth of opportunities, Tom said. So if you think about it in terms of a product, you pretty much can, within a FMCG business, see it through right from its inception at idea, right through to seeing it physically on the shelf. And every function that you can think of in terms of making that happen sits within an FMCG business, so not specifically to Mars, but to anyone. And therefore, as a result, there's some great breadth of opportunities there that you can tap into. I think the good thing about most FMCG companies, when I talk to our equivalents, so P&G's, Unilever's, GSK, L'Oreal, etc., is the ability to move across those functions. So a little bit like my career path, if I think about our graduates on our programme now, the ability to start off in marketing, for example, and actually do a complete switch into a HR or a supply chain side of the business is something which actually is quite feasible. You've got all of those functions sitting under one business's roof, if you like. So I think the ability to either specialise in an area or the ability to be a generalist and have a more diverse career is something that's really attractive about working in the FMCG industry. The other thing for me is so you've got the diversity of the roles, the breadth of opportunities, and then the other thing for me is around the opportunity to, I guess, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say, Tom?
Just what I said.
Maybe actually. If I think back, if I move on to in terms of recruitment, so I think one of the big things, you guys touched on drive, so I think drive to want to deliver is a big factor, I guess, that we're looking for as a primary competence when recruiting people and filtering people at the early stages of recruitment. And I think the other is the soft skills. So a lot of FMCGs vary in structure in terms of their organisation. Mars, for example, is quite an informal structure, so a lot of stuff gets done via conversation as opposed to email, for example. And so I think the soft skills and your ability to work with, as you said in your example in terms of those 2 guys working with the Fruit Wizard, is your ability to get stuff done through a variety of personalities. And I think when you come for interview, examples around that are really, really critical. So particularly for us and other FMCG businesses, is your ability to get stuff done through others, I guess is what I'm saying. And the other thing from a recruitment perspective, from my point of view, is we assess a lot on what we call learning agility, which is around someone's ability to take the general learnings from something and apply it to a completely new situation. So when I think about people coming for interview, you want to think about the examples that you bring, and what are the general learnings that you took out of it. So not if I asked you to do the same thing again, what would you do differently, but actually what are the general things that you've taken from that you could apply to a completely different situation. Again, people that tend to be successful in FMCG, whether they stay within a function or move wildly across it, is their ability to learn from a situation and apply it to something completely different. So sort of my couple of key general takeouts from a recruitment perspective when you're coming I'm not going to talk anymore because I know that Dora, I don't want to leave you with nothing to say. I know we're going to get into Q&A in a bit, so feel free to obviously ask me questions then, or we can pick up afterwards.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you very much.